When I think about feminism, I think it's about finding equality, specifically for women. As I process that word and I use it in my own, day-to-day vernacular, I think of it as just being pro-female, like what you can do to advocate. I hate to say for females, but from a male perspective, being feminist would mean that, like, when there are issues that involve, women, like, are you doing things that you can to advocate for, help promote, help, provide opportunities for? I'm 43 years old now, and I think I grew up in an era where things were changing. And so what that meant for me was I was raised by a single mom for most of my youth. And so I think there was a transition going on at that time, the role of family and the role of women within family. And then there was also a change at that time that was going on in society, the way women were working and what kind of jobs women would have. And I was someone who watched my mom climb the corporate ladder, and we talked about women's issues a lot because it was important in our house. So, my ideas on that were formed very much by my mom. She was a member of the American Business Women's Association and things like that. And so she was very successful, but I also watched my mom have some doors blocked there before her because she was a woman. So my ideas were really formed on, just those discussions, and she made me think differently about things. And I think I took things for granted, or maybe I And okay, so that would come specifically me being a male coach of female athletes. And I think one of the things that we have to do, and I think this is incredibly important as we move forward, is that we have to just keep providing opportunities, and we have to do what we can to level the playing field. And if I look at in my own career, we play approximately 30 games, and if you look at the number of male and female coaches, and I'm saying that knowing that I'm a male coaching females, I think there's a disproportionate amount there. So, in my own world, I think one of the things that's important for me is that for instance, in coaching, if we have young women that want to be coaches, I owe it to them to give them the opportunities they would need to grow into that profession. And I think that's one thing that's actually missing in my profession. But I'm also realistic enough to know that, most of the student athletes that I have, they're not going to want to be coaches. So when I look at their lives and what they want, we have a lot of people on our team who are nurses. Well, when I think about how I can help young women in nursing, on a basic level, it's making sure that they're able to get to class and get their studies and all of that, so they can do the best they can. But I think that there's a real obligation, when those same young women are out looking for jobs, that we help promote them and make sure that we're giving them every opportunity they can to have some of those job skills. But also, I think one of the things that's been a real hindrance to feminism is just being able to get their foot in the door. Now, in the field of nursing, that's not as much of a problem, but we also have young women that are involved in the business world, and that is a place where our young women need advocates out there. They need champions, people who will say, it doesn't matter if she's male or if she's a female or a male, she's going to give you the highest quality work. She's sharp, she's on time, she knows her stuff, right? I think there are a couple of movements that are going on right now that have been important. The Me Too movement has been an incredibly powerful and much needed movement. I think whether you attach the word feminism to that, I think it's really important that the issues behind the Me Too movement that have created such a stir, those things needed to be over a really long time ago. And however we go about supporting that cause in whatever role that may be, I think, as a society, we have to say that it's no longer okay for you to use your power to get these kinds of things. I think along with the Me Too movement, I think one of the things that unfortunately happens is like it's like if you're not involved in a particular thing and it doesn't affect you, then you don't get involved. But I think, for instance, um, pay inequality affects everyone, right? I think we see that. I mean, we see that across the board, right? Right? Like currently, right now, the WNBA is winning salaries that are comparable or the same as the NBA. That's going to create some real discussion. You know, people have the opportunity to get involved in that. And I think, you know, it's really interesting because, like, if you look at some of the movements that are going on politically right now in the United States, there are a lot of young women and even older women who are getting elected, right? And I think it makes us take a step back and say, like, well, what is it about them that is getting elected, right? If we're going, we can't just say that it's because they're a female. I think one of the best things that we can do to like concretely get involved is like we shouldn't vote for someone because they're a male or a female, but we should also not vote for someone or not vote for someone based on those same issues. And I think like when we have those really good candidates out there that have really good ideas, and that's on both sides of the aisle, Republican, Democrat, like when we have really good candidates, we have to make sure that those people are being heard. The most empowering thing about this job, the thing that is the most invigorating, is that I get to coach big girls that become young women, right? I mean, like when the young women in my program get here, they're fresh out of high school and they're just big versions of girls, right? They're just a glorified 12-year-old. And, you know, by the time that the first year has passed, the second year has passed, and we're getting into those third and fourth years, we're watching these just beyond high school girls turn into business professionals, high achieving nurses, physician's assistants who are about to go out there and make a difference in the world, right? We also have some of those people who don't choose the business world and they're wanting to be, you know, homemakers or whatever it may be, but to see people find them in their ways is a little bit